Okay, I'm ready. I have myself in order. You see you get the long cord. You don't want to expose the long cord too much.
Whoa.
No. This. You want to.
Whoa.
You want to.
I don't want to know about you exposing long cord, sir. All right?
No.
I think we just burned into the E rating with your open. It wasn't even me this time. You're the one that said, it's not about, you don't want to expose your long cord. Dude, I just have my cord. I just put it in front of me because if I do this, I end up rolling over it, with the
I know.
So
well, see, I usually have the earmuffs on, right? The headphones like you do have.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't find them today. Sometimes I have this. So then as we're just coming on, I thought, well, it's this. You know what? I'm just going to end it. We're good. North, south. You just don't know and want to know what was happening there.
No, you really don't.
No, you don't. Ryan Payne, John Nelson. Last time we spoke, we joked about this before you came on. It was nice you were given your half an hour of playtime that you could leave the concrete jungle, if you will, that you were in order to talk to me. And that was before the World Cup draw. Yeah. Any surprises, just quickly, any surprises to you in that, or was it kind of,
I mean, the teams, I think that you could have most of the folks that are out of pot one, the big names. I think you're going to have most of them work their way through as winning their groups. I think the host countries got pretty decent draws. There are a couple of groups, I want to say Group I. Because you have so many teams now in the tournament, you've got 48 to go around, you're not going to have the group of death anymore. So it's not like 4 on the floor and craziness and someone's going to get left out.
So you're essentially saying the group of death died.
That's what you're saying. So the group, so there's like a group of, there's not a group of death, but Group I is close, where you've got 3 of 4. And then you have the team that could be coming in from one of the play-in rounds. But, yeah, you don't have 4 that are just going to absolutely beat each other senseless like we've seen in the past because you have all of these moves that are now.
And I think that's a good thing, correct?
I mean,
no?
I like chaos. I know this shocked you.
Yeah, it does actually. You?
Yeah, I know me and chaos. Who knew? So give me the old school group of deaths where you had the 4 teams that were just going to knock each other around.
Yeah.
This now with 48, I think it gives you the opportunity to sit there and go, okay, is there one of those 4 that could be a troublemaker that you wouldn't necessarily anticipate? Is it going to be in Uzbekistan? Is it going to be a Cabo Verde? Is it going to be, is it going to be an Iran or someone like that could cause some trouble? That's where the intrigue is for me. But, of course, give me New Caledonia, ranked number 169 in the world, winning through the Intercontinental Playoff. Have them come in and cause a lot of trouble. That's where I am.
And you'll be a front row seat with that because that's what gets you going. I want to get onto this, and you and I have discussed this in the last couple of months, whether it's betting in the NBA or alleged betting and different things in the NFL and other sports, insert sport there. So I don't know if, I'm sure a lot of people saw this, or maybe they read the aftermath of it. Sunday's game between Denver and Las Vegas. If you want to start talking again about potential betting in the game of the NFL and possibly that players and coaches and staff, maybe mascots, are involved in this, let me just throw this at you.
Oh, yeah.
Sunday's game, Denver was a 7.5-point favorite.
Yeah, they were.
The over-under was 40.5. They were leading by 10, 24-14. Seconds left in the game. 2 things happened. Denver was popped for a very questionable delay of game penalty. And then Pete Carroll decided, let's send out the field goal unit. With 5 seconds left, you're down by 10. Daniel Carlson drilled the kick. Final was 24-17.
41.
Let's just look at this again. The line, John, the Raiders plus 7.5 and the over 40.5. Both cash. 24 plus 17 is 41 last time I checked.
Good.
I know. And the deficit was 7. Come on. I mean, if you want to avoid having eyes on something like this. I mean, you go, you take it.
Oh, no. What, you're kicking a sad field goal at the end, but I mean, you're going to have to score twice. If you're Pete Carroll.
Why are you going for a field goal?
Because
the game's over. You're down 24-14.
You score twice. You score twice anyway. So you kick the field goal. You're not going to. So what you're doing, in effect, is down 2 scores. You're going to have to score either one at either time. So you go ahead and kick the field goal with Legatron. You're down 7. You get the onside kick. Maybe there's a penalty, something like that. You get a helmet.
Yeah,
So at least
I get it.
So that the logic for Pete Carroll is there in that. It just so happened that when you got the sad field goal, you put the margin at the over by half a point. And, of course, it also depends how early in the process you got, because I'm sure that there were some folks that might have gotten the number at 40.5. Some folks might have it at 42 and were really gnashing their teeth. So if you're looking at the number at kick, that's not necessarily the number that a lot of folks may have gotten going into that game. If you look at the number at kick, you're going, yeah, okay, half a point, and you want to talk about a bad beat. That's a bad beat. But, the 7, sad field goal, yeah, okay, fine. But then the 41 isn't always – the 40.5 isn't always 40.5.
No, I understand.
Depends on where you look.
Those numbers, and because of how it ended and the timing of everything, it just raised so many red flags.
Red flag.
With what is happening? Flag on the play.
Red
That's
flag.
15 yards.
It's a challenge flag.
That's a challenge.
I'm sure it is. Absolutely it is. A challenge flag.
You know what's sad? What's sad about this, I don't know if sad's the right word, but betting is becoming such a thing. Hold on. It is a thing already. You and I have discussed about this. But all these, that was a prime example of what happened on Sunday, thinking, okay, how many people are involved? Maybe nobody was involved. But how many, if any, were involved? And who then was involved after all that? How long is this tree? How long are the roots to this thing if this was indeed something? I'm not saying it was. Mm-hmm. It just seems kind of funky.
Well, think about it. Going all the way back to the mid-'70s with the NFL today. And this is where it all started, where you had Brent Musburger and Jimmy the Greek standing at the big board, doing their analysis of everything.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, who has the advantage? Offense, defense, special teams, coaching, whatever. And then intangibles. Intangibles that was topic number 5. Who has the intangibles? And that was where the Greek and Brent discussed the juice boxes. And so that was where Greek would let everybody know, yeah, I'm thinking this. It would come through that intangibles category. So we're talking 50 years of network television, either doing a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, how'd you do, pay attention to the intangibles, or just sitting there and having sponsors with segments that go to these sports books and things like that and laying it all out there. No, it's been out there for 50 years. It's just that now the quiet part's out loud.
Yeah. The best duo, well, I think for pure comedy, looking back on it now, was Pat Summerall and John Madden. And specifically because of John Madden's analysis. And so many people, Frank Caliendo does a great impression of Madden. But say it's Dallas against San Francisco and Pat Summerall doing the call. Joe Montana back to pass, finds Jerry Rice, Rice down inside the 5, touch, and then Madden comes on. Oh, you look at Rice. He caught the ball. And then he ended up taking 5 steps and he went in. Boom, touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's a legend, how much did he really analyze? You and I could have done that. I love the guy.
But it's all about personality.
It is.
And here's how Pat Summerall would get his revenge. When he and John Madden were at the CBS and they had the 4:00 game, and you would have the late promo full screen, and we've read ours. I mean, we know what this is. You're teasing the stuff that's going to happen later. So at the 2-minute warning or the game's not in dispute or anything like that, they bring up the Sunday grid of everything going on after their game is over. It's you have show number 1. It's like 60 minutes, Murder, She Wrote, and then the CBS Sunday Night Mystery Movie. Summerall, what he would do is he would go, okay, and your lineup coming up on 60 minutes, first off, after our game, it's 60 minutes, and then it's murder. She wrote.
Yes.
And then followed by the
Angela Lansbury.
The CBS mystery, the CBS Sunday mystery movie. And what they would do, Summerall started, Murder, She Wrote, and then he would start laying out.
Yeah.
It would be Murder, She Wrote, and then he goes to the rest of the rundown. And it turned into a game with the two of them where Summerall would lay out, he would go, Murder. And there was one, and it's out there, and there's a story that was done on this. And they're asking Madden about it after Pat Summerall passed, and literally it got to a point to where there's 10 seconds of dead air. Summerall's just he's kind of doing his thing, he's waiting. And Madden starts to laugh so hysterically that he had to take his headset off and go to the back of the broadcast booth because Summerall had laid out so long, knowing that he was doing it on purpose, before he finished up with, She Wrote. And then after Madden stops laughing, he finally comes back in. But that was what happened on that one line. I think it was like a game at the Meadowlands with the Giants. Oh, yeah. And literally, it's like, Murder, layout, 10 seconds, 15. And Madden, I think you hear Madden take his headset off and head to the back of the booth because he lost it completely. But that's the kind of gamesmanship you had in that booth.
It was amazing. At the 5, yeah, they were fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Let us move on. So I want to talk about, just quickly, Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens. So Jeff Kent got voted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, the National Baseball Hall of Fame, not the National Baseball Hall of Fame. I get it. So because of these new rules, and I was reading about this today, enacted this year by the Hall's Board of Directors, Bonds, Clemens, and two others, Fernando Valenzuela and Gary Sheffield, they received less than 5 votes.
Yeah.
Which is, last time I checked, not very much.
No.
From the 16 members. So they are ineligible for the ballot when the same committee electing players whose careers began post-1980 votes in 2028.
Stupid.
Barry Bonds said this last spring when asked about it, like, are you upset you're not in? Yada, yada, yada. And he said something like, and I'll paraphrase, it's a dead issue. It doesn't matter. It is what it is. We'll let it be what it will be.
Sorry, your ego will not allow that to be the case. You can say whatever you're going to say, but I don't think that's correct.
Right. So let me ask you this. Should Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens be in the Hall of Fame?
For me, because of the rules, understanding that today what they did back then is somewhat of an accepted practice.
Right.
I get the people that sit there and make the notion that they should be, but I look at it at the time where should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame? No. Should Barry Bonds be in the Hall of Fame? No. Should Roger Clemens be in the Hall of Fame? No. It's the rules that were there at the time. And you're going to the integrity of the game. And the fact that they concealed, and I know that Roger will deny any kind of activity, but that they concealed what they were doing to better the game at the time. And neither of them have come forward and said, yeah, I did it. I think that if they didn't say that, yeah, I did it, I think my opinion of them would probably change. It's like, okay, now you're finally saying it. But until you admit to something that is pretty much in plain sight, then you're basically telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about. And so because of that, I'm like, look, come clean about it. Tell me about it. Okay, cool, fine. Then we can put all of that to the side. And then with the current rules as they are in play, I could see you being voted in. Just be open and upfront about it. Be honest about what happened. With Barry Bonds, all you have to do is look at his physical stature.
Yeah, after the age of 63.
Well, but I mean, even when he was playing, because
I know
when it is alleged that he took the PEDs, you see literally the size of his head grow, and all of the physical things that occur. And for me, like literally, this is how I am. Just come clean about it, and then I can say we can put it all past. It's accepted now. I get it. Until you get to that point, for me, you're a no. The other shame in all of this, other than this committee in general, is the fact that Dale Murphy was not voted in. This is one of the biggest things that has bugged me for the longest time. That Jeff Kent goes in, Dale Murphy does not. And Fernando Valenzuela, for me, should have gotten more votes than 5.
I agree.
That was another disappointment for me. I get Kent getting in. I think most home runs for any
second baseman
in the history of the game. I get that. That's fine. I get
it.
But for me, Dale Murphy, once again, not being allowed in through this committee, this subcommittee of a committee for the committee. It's just like you're seriously unserious now. It is a joke and a half that once again Dale Murphy has not been elected through this new committee idea that was supposed to aid players of that generation, and you're still not being allowed in for another 3-year cycle, at least in consideration through this particular committee, in addition to the committee on the whole. Just look, stop.
Just too much.
Don't tell me that you're doing something to me when you're doing 10-100 and tell me it's raining. Don't just look. It's seriously unserious the way that they're handling things with committees and subcommittees and say, hey, look what we're doing. We're trying to make it more inclusive when you're really not.
Regardless of how you feel about Clemens and Bonds and others, say McGuire's of the world and the Sammy Sosa's of the world. And again, McGuire and Sosa got a lot of eyes on baseball in the late 90s. That run of 98 between the two of them was sensational. I was watching every night to see these guys go back and forth.
And I was in the bathroom at the TV station I was working at the time when Mark McGuire set the new record. And they announced it over the PA system in the station. John Nelson missed Mark McGuire's 60-second home run because he was in the bathroom. Literally, that's what they said.
That's nice.
Everybody's watching it, and I'm in the bathroom going 10-100, and everybody in editing knew that, and they announced that I missed it. The sports guy missed McGuire's 60-second homer because he was in the bathroom.
Hey, when nature calls, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's too bad at the end of it all that the Baseball Hall of Fame does not have the all-time hits king, Pete Rose, does not have the all-time home run king in Barry Bonds. I'm just saying, statistically, a hall should have the individual with the most this, the most that. Doesn't matter if you didn't do anything else in the game. But if you lead baseball in this and this and this, you should be in there. But anyway,
don't sully the game then.
Hey, I saw this stat the other day, and it's not a useless one, but sometimes they throw useless things at you. This isn't. We spoke, I think maybe 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, about how pitchers in baseball now, a lot of them are throwing.
Yeah.
They're not pitching, right? They're throwing.
Yeah, there's a difference.
So in 2008, there were over 11,300 pitches in baseball that were thrown of at least 98 miles per hour.
Okay.
So that was back in 2008.
What's the percentage?
That number has now grown to 51,200 in 2025. So in however many years that is, 17 years, it's gone up by 40,000. So to our point, I'm not saying these pitchers aren't talented, yes, but a lot of it now has to do with how hard you can throw a baseball. Now, I saw the other day, Greg Maddux, there was this moment that he was throwing to, I think, Jeff Bagwell, if I'm not mistaken, and it was a game before they ended up facing each other, the Braves and the Astros did in the playoffs. Do you remember the story?
I do.
Yeah, and so he basically hung out this pitch and saying Bagwell, he crushed it, and he crushed it. And then I forget the name of the catcher, but after that...
As Eddie Perez.
That's it. Eddie Perez said, yeah. I said, well, what are you doing? And he basically said, well, when we face him in the playoffs, he's going to think I'm going to throw him that, and I'm going to get him to pop out to Chipper at third base. And he did exactly that. He got him to pop out to Chipper at third base. And then everyone thought, hold on a second, right? So
months later in a playoff game, he did the same thing. Bagwell was thinking one thing was going to happen, and Greg Maddux, knowing what happened last time, set him up, popped out, inning over, and threat over. And I mean, and this is also a pitcher in Greg Maddux who called his own pitches. Literally, he called his own pitches. And so what it would be, how he would position his glove when he caught the ball from Eddie Perez would be, I think, location. And so, and wherever he would touch his jersey, I think would be pitch. And then, however it's one of the other when it comes to the order. But however he caught it was one thing, and however he touched his jersey or hat or whatever. And so literally he is like he gets the ball back from Eddie Perez, and so he'll go like, brim of the cap, and then, and if he catches it high, it's going to be, a high whatever pitch. So this is a guy who called his own pitches. So Eddie Perez or anybody else could sit there and they could do whatever behind home plate, and it meant absolutely nothing.
No.
Because Greg Maddux had already decided what he was going to do.
There were a few times too. Remember who was this? Leo Mazzoni. Remember on the bench, all the just Brockman. He would go out. He would want to pull him. Bobby Cox would send him out, and nope, get back.
And
you get back to the
Bobby
bench.
Would go berserk.
He would lose his mind.
And then it would be like, well, it's like, all right, you're going to pull him, and so then Doggy would do what he did, what he had in mind, and then it would be just one of those things where, yeah, I knew what I was doing all along. We're good.
Steve Avery, John Smoltz.
Yeah.
Greg Madden,
Yeah.
Glavine. I mean, my goodness, you want to talk about some of the ace pitching staffs of all time in baseball. Do you have any interest in this? I know you're counting down. And, hey, we're in the month now. We're counting down between Sabalenka and Kira. I sent you a text recently, and you asked me, you said, did I come up with that? Did I create that? And I said, well, anyway, the hype is real, John, just in case you don't know that. What about this? Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather Jr. They're going to meet in an exhibition boxing match in March 2026 in Africa. It'll have modified rules.
Yeah, better.
Neither fighter's official record will be affected. I mean, really? Do these guys care? Floyd probably does. Tyson, he just is probably happy to just keep getting in the ring and something. Are you interested in that? Not watching, but will you be interested to see the outcome of that one?
Nope.
I will.
Nope.
Come on.
Don't care.
How can you not? It's Mike Tyson. It's
care.
Floyd.
Unless they're going to beat the daylights, unless Mike Tyson is going to beat the daylights out of Floyd Mayweather, then I have zero interest in it. It is going to be, it's going to be a soccer bopper fight, and I'm going to have zero interest in it whatsoever. And I'm sure that the pay-per-view buy will be astronomical. They will make a boatload of money.
They will.
Good on them. And if you want to drop $60 on something like that, that's basically going to be just slap fighting and soccer boppers, then you go right ahead. No,
they're looking at, and Tyson's saying that it's going to be the most amount of money brought in for a fight, and I understand that.
Brought in ever. Yeah.
The Tyson versus Jake Paul one, that was a fix. Tyson had that one, and there was one moment in that fight where Tyson was about to rear back and let one go, and I don't know what it was. You can make of it what you want,
but so much.
Yeah, I think that was last one before we run out here. Auston Matthews, I want to talk a bit about the Toronto Maple Leafs star, and I say that in quotes.
I have heard of him.
He to me right now, and in fact, I know he's been injured and has injuries for the last number of seasons. Totally understand that. So I'm not knocking him for playing through pain. But I believe that his game has regressed a ton to the point now where he is not even included in the list of superstars in the game. There was a point in my mind not too long ago that he was up there in the same realm as the McDavids, Crosby, Ovechkin. He doesn't seem that way to me anymore. He is lost. I don't know what it is, if it's confidence or anything like that, but his first plan, what I see lately with him is every time he gets that puck, it's who can I pass it to? It's not what can I create myself to start with. I'm not saying if you're a 1-on-2 or a 1-on-3, you've got to go through all these three players. But you know what? Guys like Macklin Celebrini try to. Connor Bedard tries to. Other players in the game still try to. But he doesn't do it. If you watch everything that he does, his first motion is he has the puck, he looks up, which you need to see some available options. But it's always that one of, I'm going to slow down a bit till my teammates catch up. If you are paid that amount of money, if you are a captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs, if you're a captain of any of the teams, and if you are labeled and look to be one of the best players in the game, play like it. You're not a Nate McKinnon. You're not a McDavid. You're not a Kaprizov. I can go on and on. He's not even in the top 10 for me. He may be pushing the top 15, John, in players in the NHL for me that I would build the team around or I would want on my team.
Okay. Let me come the other side of that.
No,
so
that's not like you.
I know, really. If you are in an odd man rush and you are Auston Matthews and you take that look up so you know that someone's not charging at you and wants to jump off their feet and miss you and run into the boards, which I thought was pretty funny this past week. It's like, yeah, I'm going to sit there. I'm going to hit this guy, and then the guy ducked and you missed and you end up smashing into the boards yourself. It was very.
That was Ovi. That was Ovi doing that.
It was very Coyote and Roadrunner. But if I'm Auston Matthews or if I'm any star, let's pull the name out of it. If I'm any star and I'm on an odd man rush and I look up and I see that I'm on the left-hand side and it's 1v2, I'm about to cross over the blue line 1v2, and I see a third defender / winger coming over, and it's 1v3.
Okay.
Well, then why am I sitting there and going, I think I'm going to plow through that and just totally waste this transition opportunity instead of waiting for reinforcement?
Right. So let me just change one bit of that. Forget the third. Just forget it's 1-on-2. Say he gets the puck at the blue line or the neutral zone. And there's two defensemen, not two converging on him at the same time. They're spaced out. The one man plays Matthews. The other one plays the trailer, whoever comes in, whatever.
Got it.
That's where I don't understand. Go wide on the one. Go toward the middle. Try to create something, but he doesn't do that. There's no creativity with him anymore. Even on the power play, he's not trying to create anything. All he's doing is, I'm going to pass the puck off, I'm going to try to find some open space, and I'm going to try to score. I understand that, but it just seems to me that the game, he used to be that player, John. He used to be the player that he would try to make something to start with. Not, as you said, very well said, to go through 1 through 3. No way. Not a lot of guys can do that. But Nate McKinnon, the other night in overtime, with that magical goal or the day against the Rangers, he went through two defensemen. He was in the offensive zone. You don't see Matthews try that on a 3-on-3. You should try that on a 3-on-3. You have all this open ice. So if you watch him again on a 3-on-3 situation, he rarely tries to create anything when you have so much space on the ice and there's only 3 members of the opposition you have to try to go up against.
Okay, so then to your point, all right, so here's the rundown of his games played, stats, and so on. So I'll run through this here. First season, 82 games, 69 points. 62, 63. 68, 73. 70, 80. 52, 66. That was 2021, obvious reason. 73, 106. 74, 85. 81, 107. 67, 78. This year it is 24 games played, 12 plus 8. Let me ask you this. How much of it is on him and how much of it is on the supporting cast not finishing chances, not integrating, not coming down as a unit? How much of this is the chicken and egg argument that I'm going to get into?
Sure.
How much of this is on Matthews for trying to bring everyone along in this? Stats be damned, because right now you're 24 matches in and 24 games in and you're still at 20 points. I mean, you're not quite at your 1+ that we're used to seeing. How much of that is on him through these 24 games where you're 12 plus 8, wanting to bring everyone along with you to integrate properly? And how much of this is on the supporting cast not integrating with Matthews and making sure that what the staff wants to have them do in offensive sets and in transition moments? How much of this is Matthews' problem, and how much of this is the cast around him not integrating with Auston Matthews?
I think a lot of it is Matthews. I really do. And I do think as well that with this system in place, I think he had more movement. And I know Mitch Marner was in Toronto for a long time, and that really helped. I get that. Because then some spaces open up because you got to follow number 16. But you've got number 88 on the team. You've got him, you got Nylander, got Matthew Nyes. There's a lot of players that he plays with, Matthews does, that the opposition should find ways to try to give Matthews more space. But he just doesn't. The first option for him is not trying to make something, not saying out of nothing, but just start to create. Use the legs, go wide, drive the net. He used to do that a lot, John. He used to drive the net a lot. You don't have to go through everybody on the team, but just show some sort of passion. That's where I think it's been the big problem. And I think a lot of it's on him.
So then if he comes into the attacking zone, crosses the blue line, 1v2, 1v1, and in his mind, if his best option is to go forward to be that presence that is crashing the net, and instead of having possession with the puck, lay it off so the trailer can be that instigator to draw the defenders toward him, to leave Matthews alone closer to net, that's a Matthews problem and not the supporting cast issue?
Matthews is the one in my mind that is not creating.
Okay.
When you are telling me that and when you're talking about that, all I'm thinking of is, and I'm not going to hear, from anyone saying, oh, well, McDavid's at a different level. That's fine. To me, Nate McKinnon's the best player in the game right now. McDavid 1B. That's very close. But when you were talking, all I'm thinking of is McDavid coming in, even on a 2-on-2, Or McKinnon coming in on a 2-on-2. Forget 1-on-2. The creativity, Bedard coming in. You just see it's just different. There's something different about it. Matthews tries to slow the game down rather than use your speed, use your skill, be like a McKinnon, be like McDavid, get the defense on their heels a bit and try to create something like that. That's the biggest thing for me with him. He just doesn't seem to want to push himself to be the player that he used to. Now, whether it's injuries, and I know there's a lot of stuff going on with him, a lot of stuff that publicly people don't know about. I get it, and it stinks. When you play the game like that, and when you have a lower body injury of any sort, it's hard. But it's just, the game to me is just dropping off significantly.
Okay. Like I said, I wanted to have you defend your argument, counselor, because well, like I said,
yeah, and I appreciate that. Yeah,
we are used to having an Auston Matthews that is a point plus per game. Right now, it's not that way. It's 12 through 24, 12 plus 8 through 24, and you're wondering, okay, but if you project this out, it's 30 and 24. No, it's 36 and 24, so it's 60 points in 82 games, and I know that's unacceptable. Like I said, I'm still wondering right now with a new coach, and new system, and players, and integrating, and all these different things, and how it's all coming together to where you're being deferential. And I would posit that if being deferential at this point of the season is not working for Toronto, do not be surprised if he turns into a quote-unquote more selfish player as the season goes along, to take more of that responsibility if the folks that are with him on his shifts are not scoring and they're not integrating the way that you would like them to.
He certainly does, as the team does, miss Mitch. Say that 10 times fast. I'm not going to, because I'll miss the Mitch part.
You'll bring in other letters, and you'll sit there and you'll sit.
That's
there
what I mean. I'm going to bring it all the way back to how we started.
I'm going to hit the pause button here, and that's not going to work. Yeah, no, I'm interested to see how much more selfish.
Yeah,
if that's a word to use. Austin,
he just has to be more selfish. I don't say that about every player, but he has the skill to do so. He has the skill to be that way. And if Craig Berube at some point, if Austin tries to do something on the ice, if he's going to go off on him on the bench, he should be ashamed of himself, because the guy's trying. I just think a lot of this has to do, again, with also confidence. I don't think he has the confidence that he used to have in the game.
Well, once again, without Mitch Marner, that would lend itself to being that way.
Yeah. Big problem, too, when they put the C on him. I really think that was that was an issue. Anyway, thank you, John. We'll talk to you again.
Thank you, Ryan. Talk to you again.